participants for our session of Janaganit, beginning with fractions. We are going to begin our sessions on fractions by constructing a fractions kit. And for that, we first pasted some colored paper on a sheet of graph paper. So on one side we have the color, and on the other side we have the measured, calibrated graph paper. So we can use the graph paper to prepare rectangles, squares, lengths of definite sizes by counting squares on the graph paper. So to begin our construction of the fractions kit, we are going to look at the reverse side and on the graph paper mark out a square of side 12 centimeters. So I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 this way, 12 this way. And having marked the ends of the square, we will use the scissors and cut out the square of side 12 centimeters. I will also invite our participants Gyan Jyoti and Nandita. Gyan Jyoti and Nandita, please mark the points which represent the corners of the square, and try to use from the corner of the paper, because we will use the other part to cut out more shapes. So start out with the corner here and mark out a square of side 12 centimeters. You can use this pen, and I will give you one for Nandita. This fraction kit which we are constructing will be used for many activities in the coming sessions on the subject of fractions. To begin with, we are making our fraction kit. Just wait a minute. Have you marked out the squares? So please show both sides of your paper. One side is the colored side and the reverse side is the graph paper. Now let us begin by cutting out a square with side 12 centimeters which we have marked. Let us begin by cutting this out with a scissors. So now we have three squares, my pink square and Ganjyoti's blue square and Nandita's orange square. Let us see if all the squares are of the same size. So please hand over your squares. Yes, all the squares are of the same size. So all of us have done our measurements correctly. Okay, so you can return the squares, and now in the remaining paper, cut out one more square of the same size. So if you have not put the gum on the entire surface after you cut it, you may have to again add some gum to make sure that your graph paper sheet and your colored sheet are stuck together all around. So you can keep some gum ready to fix the pieces after cutting. So now we have two squares of 12 by 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. To know the size, we can always look on the graph paper side, but we will be doing fractions with the colored paper side, and if necessary we can turn over and check the sizes using the graph paper markings. Now, having cut these two squares of size 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters, what do you have remaining? Please show that to the camera. So this is also important. Let's use this now. So in what remains, cut out rectangles which are 12 centimeters on one side and 2 centimeters on the other side. So as many rectangles as possible, make rectangles which are 12 centimeters on one side and 2 centimeters on the other side. And now, having made those rectangles, which are 12 centimeters on one side and 2 centimeters on the other side, fold the rectangle along the center line carefully so that you end up with a rod which is 12 centimeters in length. And this rod you can keep on a flat surface. So now we have made some rods which are 12 centimeters in length, which can be kept on a flat surface. So having made our Janaganit fractions kit, which consists of squares like this, rods like this, and circles like this, which you can make yourself, or you can use paper plates which are easily available. But if you don't have paper plates, it is quite easy to make circles. All the circles should be of the same size. All the squares that you make also should be of the same size. Let us use this Janaganit kit. You need to make maybe around 10 or 12 squares like this. You need to make around 10 or 12 rods like this, which we will use for our discussion. And you can make them in different colors, maybe 3 pink, 3 blue, 3 orange, 3 yellow. And that will be the starting point of constructing a fractions kit. Let us begin discussing fractions using these circles which we have with us. Imagine that this circle here is a roti. Imagine that this is a chapati. Or if you are in South America, imagine that this is a tortilla or a naan. Or if you are in the US or Europe, imagine that this is a pizza. Everywhere in the world, we have things that we eat which are circular in shape. So here, this is going to be a roti for us as we, sitting in Mumbai, are discussing this. Perhaps if we were in Chennai, I would call this a dosa. But this is a roti for us, or a pori in Mumbai. And the first question is, Nandita, take 4 poris, take 4 rotis in your hand. You have 2, take 2 from Jyanjyoti, take 2 rotis from her. And now you have 4 rotis in your hand. I'm going to give you a problem which is a division problem. This is the division problem. The division problem is 4 divided by 2. And what you have to do is to divide those 4 rotis equally between 2 of you, that is between yourself and Jyanjyoti. So please divide it equally among 2 of you. Give Jyanjyoti her share. Take your share. How much is the share of each? 2. So this was a problem in addition, subtraction, multiplication. This was a problem in division, right? This was a division problem. Now the next problem is for Jyanjyoti. You have 2 rotis. So your problem is, when we divided 4 by 2, the answer was 2. Okay? So now the rotis which Nandita has in her hand, put them aside, put them away. And the rotis which are there with Jyanjyoti, you have to solve this problem. Solve it. You have to divide 2 rotis among 2 persons. You have to divide these 2 rotis divided in 2 equal parts. So do that by sharing it between you and Nandita. What is the answer? 1. So 4 divided by 2, the answer was 2. Two divided by 2, the answer was 1. Okay, so now Nandita, you have how many rotis with you? 1. Because the 2 that you had earlier, you put them aside. I think you can keep them aside so that we don't show the camera. So you have now 1 roti. The roti which is there with Jyanjyoti, you can also keep that down aside. So now we have just 1 roti which is with Nandita. And what you have to do, Nandita, now is to divide that 1 roti among the 2 of you equally.
I will cut it in half and give 1/2.
So what will you do?
I will cut the roti in half and give 1/2 to
Please
each.
do it. I will repeat what she is doing there for everybody to see. And you have divided it equally among 2 persons. So what you have in your hand is Gyanjyoti? Half. Okay. Now we divided first 4 by 2. And we got the answer as 2. Next we divided 2 by 2 and we got the answer as 1. Now what are we doing? We are dividing 1 by 2. So let me write that. We are dividing 1 by 2 and what we got is there in your hands. I will just make it here and hold it in my hand. What we got was this, right? So now, what is the name of this? Half. So do we know why we write half as 1 upon 2?
Because we are dividing 1 by 2.
We are dividing 1 by 2. That is why we write half as 1 upon 2. So we also now understand this is a fraction. 1 upon 2 is a fraction. Let me write it again. First we had 4 by 2 and we got the answer as 2. Then we divided 2 rotis equally among 2 persons and we got the answer as 1. This was a division exercise and we continued with the division exercise until we divided 1 roti among 2 persons, and what is there in our hand is this, which is we called half. But now, since we are dividing 1 roti among 2 persons, we write half as 1 upon 2. So now we understand why we write half as 1 upon 2. And we also understand that fractions is not a new subject. Fractions is just a part of division. It is just division which is taken forward. It is not a new subject. That's a very important thing to understand. Fractions is not a new subject. It is just division.